A gigantic crater amid the frozen wilderness continues to widen each year, as if the ground were being torn apart from within. Along steep cliffs, ancient coffins still hang suspended for hundreds of years, with no one truly knowing why they were placed there. Earth has always held forbidden places, places that make people realize, perhaps we have never truly understood the planet we live on. Amid the mist-covered mountains of northern Philippines, where steep cliffs disappear into the cold clouds of the Sagada Highlands, there exists a sight that makes many people stop and stare for a long moment. Along limestone cliffs rising dozens of meters high, small wooden coffins remain quietly attached to the rock face, as if time had forgotten them centuries ago. Known as the hanging coffins, this is an ancient burial tradition of the Igorot people, an indigenous community that has lived in this region for generations. Instead of burying the dead underground, some elders of the community were placed inside coffins suspended high along the cliffs, with the belief that being closer to the sky would keep their spirits nearer to their ancestors and better protected after death. What is especially remarkable is that many of the coffins in Sagada are relatively small. According to tradition, the deceased were often placed in a curled position, reflecting the belief that people should leave the world in a way similar to how they entered it. Today, amid mist-covered mountains and near total silence, those coffins still remain as traces of a very different worldview. A reminder that not every civilization sees life and death in the same way, and that sometimes the strangest things come from deeply human beliefs. Hidden within the forests of Chestnut Ridge Park in New York, where the sound of water slips through moss-covered rock and sunlight reaches the ground only through dense tree cover, there exists a sight that makes many people stop and look twice. Just behind the small cascade of eternal flame falls, a flame quietly burns within the rock, as if water and fire had temporarily forgotten the natural laws that placed them in opposition. At first glance, the place feels almost surreal. Cold water continuously pours over the rock face, while behind the thin curtain of water, a small flame flickers silently in the darkness. Not large, not violent, yet enough to make the scene difficult to explain. However, this strange phenomenon does not come from magic. Scientists believe that beneath the shale rock of the area, a stream of natural gas, primarily methane, continuously leaks through small cracks. Amid the cold and quiet forest of New York, that flame continues to burn behind the endlessly falling water. A small sight, yet enough to blur the line between science, legend, and the paradoxes of nature. Deep within the frozen wilderness of Siberia, where taiga forests stretch to the horizon and the ground has remained locked in ice for thousands of years, there exists a gigantic rupture that many have called the gates of hell. Badagica crater emerges from the permafrost like a section of Earth's surface torn open from the body of the planet itself. From above, Badagica does not resemble an ordinary sinkhole. Massive earthen walls expose layers of ancient geology, revealing soil, ice, and plant remains buried beneath northern permafrost for tens of thousands of years. The entire landscape feels as though the planet's past is slowly uncovering itself before human eyes. But what makes Badagica remarkable is not only its scale. This place continues to change. As permafrost gradually melts, the ground loses stability, causing deep walls to collapse and the crater to widen over time. A slow process, yet one powerful enough to quietly reshape the surrounding landscape. Perhaps the most thought-provoking thing about Badagica lies not in its dramatic name, but in the reality that even ground that seems permanent is still moving, a reminder that Earth has never truly stood still. Amid rocky forests and mist-covered ravines in northern Minnesota, there exists a phenomenon that makes the familiar flow of nature suddenly difficult to explain. At a place known as the Devil's Kettle, the Brule River unexpectedly splits into two. One branch continues flowing downstream as expected, while the other plunges directly into a dark rock hole between the cliffs and disappears from sight. From above, the place appears like a strange rupture between steep rock walls and the endless echo of rushing water. The current crashes forcefully into the deep opening, but what makes the Devil's Kettle so remarkable is that for a long time, almost no one knew for certain what happened next beneath the rock. For years, people dropped logs, tracking balls, and other objects into the water, hoping to determine where it might reappear. But most attempts brought no clear answer. That mystery turned this place into one of the most famous geological enigmas of the American Midwest. Today, many researchers believe the missing water likely continues through underground rock fissures before rejoining the river elsewhere. But standing amid the sound of rushing water echoing through the cold ravine, the Devil's Kettle still leaves the feeling that nature can sometimes be far stranger than human intuition allows. Amid the arid desert of Nevada, where cracked ground stretches beneath the heat and the horizon feels almost empty, there exists a structure that makes the surrounding landscape suddenly seem unreal. Fly Geyser continuously sends hot water and steam into the air, standing out against the barren land with layers of red, orange, green, and yellow covering its entire surface. From a distance, the place feels almost surreal. Geothermal water flows across richly colored mineral deposits, while steam constantly rises through the dry desert air. In a land that seems motionless, Fly Geyser gives the impression that the earth beneath is still quietly moving. What makes this structure remarkable is that it is not entirely natural. It formed after geothermal well drilling in the early 20th century, when mineral-rich hot water continuously surged upward and gradually built new layers over time. Heat-loving algae and minerals are what give the geyser its vivid colors, making it appear so unusual. And amid that stillness, Fly Geyser continues to exist, like a hidden part of Earth quietly revealing itself on the surface of the planet. Beneath the arid desert of New Mexico, where hot winds move across barren rock formations and the horizon stretches endlessly through dust, there exists a world almost detached from the surface. Carlsbad Caverns opens beneath the earth like a vast underground system formed over millions of years in darkness. The deeper one descends into the cave, the more the desert light fades away, replaced by cold air and silence echoing through enormous stone chambers. Stalagmites rise from the cave floor, mineral draperies hang from towering ceilings, while the immense space makes humans feel almost insignificant within the deep darkness. What makes Carlsbad Caverns remarkable is not only its scale, but the pace of its formation almost beyond human perception. Over millions of years, mineral-rich water slowly shaped gigantic stone structures, changing the landscape according to a rhythm that a human lifetime can barely comprehend. In the deepest sections, light is gradually swallowed by darkness, and the only sound left is the distant echo of water dripping onto stone. Amid the desert of New Mexico, Carlsbad Caverns exists as a reminder that much of Earth's history was written not by violent forces, but by time that feels nearly endless. Amid the tree-covered canals of Xochimilco, not far from the center of Mexico City, there exists a small island that makes the quiet scenery of these waterways suddenly feel unusual. The island of the dolls appears behind dense branches, with hundreds of old dolls hanging from tree trunks, wooden structures, and fences, many faded, missing limbs, or distorted by time. A small boat slowly glides across the narrow water before the first faces begin to emerge from the shadows. One doll hangs silently from a branch, then more gradually appear from the darkness, creating a scene both strange and difficult to look away from amid the stillness of the canals. According to local stories, the island is tied to Don Julian Santana, a man who lived in isolation there after believing that a young girl had drowned nearby. He began hanging dolls in the trees in hopes of honoring her memory or calming her spirit. Over the decades, the number of dolls continued to grow until the entire island became a scene that feels almost surreal. Amid the soft sound of water brushing against the boat and tree shadows covering the narrow paths, the island of the dolls leaves behind the feeling that sometimes memory, belief, and isolation are what make a place truly unforgettable. On the rocky slopes overlooking the Mediterranean region of Turkey, amid darkness and dust-covered paths, there exists a phenomenon that makes this place feel as though it has stepped out of an ancient story. Between the rocky fissures of Mount Chimera, small flames quietly rise from the ground, flickering in the wind as if the mountain had never truly fallen asleep. When night arrives, firelight reflects across the dark stone in an almost silent landscape. There is no wood, no sign that anyone maintains them, yet these flames have burned for centuries. Because of this, the place has long been connected to the legend of the Chimera, the fire-breathing creature of Greek mythology. However, the explanation lies deep beneath the surface. Researchers believe that methane and other natural gases continuously escape through geological cracks. Once ignited, they create small flames capable of burning for long periods among stone and wind. Amid the darkness of ancient mountains overlooking the sea, Mount Chimera continues to exist as a place where Earth reveals one of its most primitive sides, a place where fire has never truly disappeared from within the planet. Hidden beneath the cold Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, where rocky forests and mist cover the slopes, there exists a place where the light of the world above gradually loses its meaning. Krobera Cave opens like an underground system descending more than 2 kilometers into the earth, once considered the deepest cave ever explored by humans. The entrance reveals almost nothing of the immense scale below, but the deeper one moves through narrow rock passages, vertical drops, and cold streams flowing silently through darkness, the more the sense of the outside world begins to fade. No sky, no familiar rhythm of day and night, only rock, water, and silence stretching through a space nearly detached from the surface. What makes Krobera Cave remarkable is not only its depth, but the feeling of geological time and scale. Its rock formations were shaped over millions of years, while many of the deepest sections remain extremely difficult to access, requiring specialized expeditions to continue exploration. Amid the cold darkness beneath the Caucasus Mountains, Krobera Cave leaves behind the feeling that much of Earth's world still lies beyond human sight, not because it disappeared, but because we have only just begun to reach it. Beneath the small town of Kutna Hora in the Czech Republic, there exists a chapel where Europe's past feels present in a way found almost nowhere else. Sedlec ossuary appears fairly modest from the outside, yet beneath its ancient stone walls lies a space built from the remains of tens of thousands of people. The deeper one descends the stone staircase, soft light and silence begin to replace the rhythm of the outside world. Then the first details emerge: stacks of bones arranged along the walls, intricate decorative structures, and at the center, the famous chandelier made entirely of human bones, incorporating nearly every type of bone in the human body. The origins of this place date back to the Middle Ages, when the Sedlec cemetery became overcrowded following the Black Death and wars throughout the Bohemia region. By the 19th century, artisan František Rint was tasked with arranging the remaining bones, transforming them into the structures that still exist today. What makes Sedlec ossuary unforgettable lies not only in the number of human bones, but in the feeling that every detail inside once belonged to people who lived lives of their own, now remaining only as a silent fragment of European history. Beneath central Turkey, the ground opens into a hidden settlement. Stone corridors stretch nearly 280 feet below the surface. Silence blankets the darkness, while carved walls suggest a city built for survival. Over centuries, people dug deeper into layers of soft volcanic rock. At least 8 levels remain open today. Researchers estimate that this place once sheltered nearly 20,000 people, along with food supplies and livestock. Heavy circular stone doors protected narrow passageways. Some weighed hundreds of pounds and could be rolled shut from the inside. Families isolated themselves underground during times of attack, turning the tunnels into a defensive maze. Fresh air still circulated throughout the city. More than 50 ventilation shafts carried air into deep underground chambers. One shaft stretched nearly 180 feet, delivering oxygen to spaces where entire communities once waited. What makes Derinkuyu so astonishing lies not only in its depth or engineering, but in the idea that throughout many periods of history, an entire community once lived and survived beneath the ground as a very real part of human life. Off the eastern coast of New Zealand, there exists an island where the ground seems to have never truly been at rest. Wakari, or White Island, rises from the ocean like the exposed peak of an active volcano, covered in layers of pale gray rock, hot steam, and the faint scent of sulfur drifting through the air. From a distance, the island feels almost deserted, but the closer one gets, the thin plumes of smoke rising from the ground and the unusual colors of the terrain begin to reveal that this place is still active. Acid lakes, geothermal fissures, and mineral deposits create a landscape that feels both harsh and strangely captivating. What makes Wakari remarkable lies not only in its unusual appearance, but in the fact that it is the exposed summit of a much larger volcanic system hidden beneath the seafloor. The ground here constantly changes through geothermal activity, a reminder that landscapes which seem motionless are often still shifting in ways humans can barely perceive. Amid the seas of New Zealand, White Island leaves behind the feeling that even the quietest lands may still be silently moving beneath the surface. A reminder that before the ancient and unpredictable power of Earth, Humans are sometimes only temporary visitors. Earth still seems to hold more secrets than humanity has ever imagined, where the boundary between reality and the unexplainable sometimes becomes strangely fragile. And ahead, there are still quiet journeys waiting to be discovered.